RDS or Aurora cost is divided into several categories. The first one is instance hours, the second one is storage, third is data transfer, the fourth is IOPS. In this video, we're going to primarily discuss about instance running hours. This is a report published by Vantage, and these are the top ranked RDS reserved instances for Q4 2023. As you can see, most of them are T-type, R, and M. Could you tell a little bit about the instance hours and how the instance type and size could affect the cost?
Of course, Amazon Web Services has a multitude of instance types and sizes with it, right? Some instance types are more compute intensive, some instance types are more memory intensive, right? So you need to know what your database will need. Typically, databases are more memory intensive, right? And then Amazon Web Services offers these types in different sizes, from maybe an extra large to a 2 extra large, 4 extra large, 8 extra large, and 16 extra large. And so the billing is fair, right? With every doubling, you pay twice as much, right? So a 2XL costs twice as much compared to an extra large database, right? So that's one way of judging, right? What type and size you should use. Maybe if you don't know, start small, do a test, right? And if you see performance issues, you then can get a larger size, always at a later point in time.
So always start with small and then increase as needed.
That's the best strategy. Don't start very large, because obviously a single table MySQL database will run great on a 16XL, but it would be also very expensive.
How about burstable instances like T-type or burstable, right? Do you recommend those? In some cases, they may be okay.
I do agree. It really depends, right, on what the queries are that you are running and how frequently you are running them, right? You really need to look at how burstability is managed on the AWS side, because you can build up credits, burst credits, right? So if you know that there is a batch workload that at 6 p.m. needs a lot of compute, that may be a good option, because during the previous 24 hours, you accumulated a lot of burst credits, and then when the batch workload kicks off, you can then consume the burst credits, right? But you need to be detail-oriented and have a lot of knowledge or metrics about your database, right?
Yeah, I see typically people choose T-type or R-type and M-type for database workloads.
Yes.
And any suggestions around the type to choose between T, R, and M?
I mean, M is a multi-purpose. That's what that is for, right? So it has sort of an average CPU and an average memory. Typically, then, if you go to a C, it has twice as much CPU. When going to an R, has twice as much memory. So on a high level, this is how it typically works, right? And then the T instances are burstable in this sort of like a separate area, right?
How about the region? Sometimes even the region could impact the cost, right? So it's tricky sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, Brazil is known to be one of the most expensive regions, right? So unless you have customers in Brazil that need low latency access to the data, maybe you don't need to start your database over there, right? Ohio seems to be a very good region. It is relatively new, maybe just a few years old, but it has a lot of capacity, right? Some of the older instance types may not be available in Ohio, like M1s or M2s, that kind of stuff. So when you choose your region, make sure that it's close to where the customers are, right, for data transfer latencies, and also look at the pricing, right? Fortunately, AWS offers pricing sheets on their website. And you can select the region and get an overview very quickly. You can also use the AWS pricing calculator to get sort of like an estimate of what your database would cost on a monthly basis.
Okay, that's great. How about using ARM instances, right? Sometimes that could help in reducing the cost. So that is also another uh, thing that people should consider, right? They should go for ARM wherever they can, right?
And absolutely, and for most of these database systems, they are available both on Intel x86 and ARM-based Graviton microprocessor architectures, right? So as long as the machine image exists for ARM, you can run, MySQL or Postgres on an ARM database, on ARM virtual machine, and it depending on the generation, because now AWS has three different generations of ARM microprocessors, right? Graviton 1, 2, and 3. So try to choose the 7Gs, that is the latest generation, for the most performance benefit and the most savings.
Okay, thanks, Dieter.